How y'all doing today? My name's Ayin, and today's topic of discussion is going to be, does others' judgment of me validate me? Does others' judgment of me validate me? Even though this is a topic for discussion on this channel, for something for all of us to evaluate, when it comes to me, I'm going to say the answer is no. What this question means is, or what I'm thinking about when you're talking about this topic, do others' judgment of me validate me? No, it doesn't. You don't know me like I know me. Sometimes I've had where, and this is a good thing. This is a good thing, but it still leads back to me. I've had people say, well, you're good at XYZ. Man, you should get it off in doing this. You should get in this line of work. Man, you should do this and that and the other. Blah, blah, blah. Because they recognize some strengths. And that's awesome. Because I've talked about this in other videos. That sometimes people, they'll help you pull, to a degree, some of the best things up about yourself. They'll give you a mirrored or accurate reflection of yourself to a degree on some things. It's got to be up to you to bridge that gap between what's really you and what they're saying. If a person is just blowing smoke or really telling you something that you need to know, because maybe they noticed that you hadn't picked up on whatever it is that you're strong about. So we've talked about this on that channel, but I'm talking about this from a standpoint of, it can really kind of come off as, when you're confiding in people, others, especially if they're kind of considered to be mentors, to where I've experienced this myself. A person feels like when they're in a mentor position in your life, or somebody that you're confiding in, they feel as if they need to validate some of the things that you're doing, or some of the things that you're moving on to do in your life, because you've kind of set them up as this position to where it's just like, well, they're not really telling you outright like how you would have with the supervisor or something on a job, where it's like, well, I don't approve of you doing XYZ, or I do approve of you doing ABC. It might not really come across like that, but they can get a haughtiness about themselves to where a lot of the times they may be offering more opinion than what you even asked for. Or maybe you didn't ask for anything. Maybe there's a degree or a level of comfort there that they feel the need to yay or nay some of the decisions that you make. And I'm letting you know, you don't need others' judgment to validate you in something that you may be doing. Because no matter how close we are as friends or people in the circle, even family members raised in the same household, mother, father, sister, brother, whatever the case, even you don't know me down to my most crucial points. There's things about me that you've never known, because you only see me as this, whether I'm your brother, whether I'm your son, whether I'm your uncle, whatever the case may be. There's certain things that you may not know that I'd want to do. Just like when I've stepped out on ventures of doing certain things that I've done. Some of the responses I've gotten, I didn't even know you like doing. I've used this example on this channel before, and I'll say this. I'm not particularly fond of reading. Actually, that's me putting it nicely. I really don't even care for reading. I find it boring. But it's funny. And nor am I fond of writing. But I wrote a book because I found it was something I was good at. When I can actually engage in something that piques my interest. My book is in regards to family communication. I found out that I was good talking to people, speaking in front of people, getting my point across, illustrating vividly on topics that I'm discussing. And these are some of the techniques I use in my books, the book, to get my point across. Another book that I'm working on, and books. So this was something that would have been shocking to the people up off of my circle, because it's just like, hey, I recommended for you to read this book. You never even cracked it or you opened it. You never even had shown any interest in reading. But then you wrote a book. So to some people, they can't wrap their head around it. What do you mean? It just comes up out of left field. And I've even had, to a degree, especially with some of the people that I'm thinking of in my life, that's almost kind of like, hey, where'd you get this approval? How are you validating and doing this? You didn't run it across me first. No, I don't have to run it across you. I don't need your validation for what I'm doing. That's the point of this video. It's up to you to decide your strengths and your weaknesses. It's up to you to find your passion to do whatever it is that you want to do. And you don't have to have others validate you or sign off on it and say, yeah, you know what? I agree with what you're doing, Ayn. Yeah, you got my approval. You got my support. Go ahead and go do it. When you think about it, would you want that anyways? Because not everybody has your best interest at heart. There's some things, like I said, that people say that I was good at doing, and I'm just like, I don't want to do that. I've been at certain vocations or jobs, and man, you should move on up there, and man, you'd be great off in management doing this. We're like, I don't want to do this. I don't even want to be here now. You don't know it, but I'm going on job interviews now because I actually abhor doing this job. It's nice. Thank you for the compliment. I'm glad that you see that I'm excelling at what I do and I seem like I'd be a benefit here, but I don't want this. For all that I know, even though I really don't feel this way, I'm just saying because people have different people. People have different people off in their circles. You could have somebody really trying to have you off track from what you really should be doing. Yeah, you should do this, this is that. And I've said this in other videos. Sometimes when you have people in your circle that aren't really healthy for you, sometimes it takes years to find that out. Something that my mother had told me, and she's been right up to this point. Friends take years to develop. You have some people that they come into contact with people and, oh, that's my friend. We went out a few times. That's my friend. That's my best friend. Friends take years to develop. You have to go through ups and downs. Sometimes you grow. You may grow apart, and that puts the relationship to a test because you may be growing in different directions, but you're still able to maintain that friendship and overcome things and those ups and downs and see who's rocking and rolling with you and how you're rocking and rolling with them. They take years to develop. Man, you should consider yourself lucky if you just got one friend. Not the way social media and these other things portray things as 500-600 friends. You can't possibly have 500-600 friends. Where's the time to deal with that many people? So you mean to tell me that 500-600, 1,500 friends that you got, you can call on any one of them, and they're going to be right there with your assistance and your aid in the same manner that a person that we're describing in this video would? No, that's silly to think that. You can't possibly have that much time for those, and they can't possibly have that much time for you. There's no way you can have that much time for them to give, to them to be devoted, and go through all the, I'm going to say all the stretchy moments that a friendship does, all the back and forth. You just don't have that much time to engage with that many people. So, that being said, brings me back to my topic when I'm talking about does others' judgment of me validate me? No, it doesn't. It's up to me to validate me. I've said this in other videos where I've mentioned where you may go down a road of doing something and find out, well, you know what, this is really not for me. Maybe you need to readjust your goal. Maybe you need to change your goal up entirely. And the point that I was making before I went off on those examples where I'm talking about sometimes people may not have their best interest off in your life for certain things that they're doing. But sometimes you can get played by others. Sometimes people may set up roadblocks or have you deviated from the path that you really need to be at. And it's not up to others to judge where you should be up off in life. Like I said, there may be constructive criticisms. Nothing wrong with constructive criticisms. There may be some moments where they pick out and draw out some strengths. That's awesome. That's awesome. It may even be some parts where they draw out weaknesses. I've had that in my life. That's awesome as well. Because maybe it was something I didn't see. I can say for myself on the few times that weaknesses have been brought up. I'm saying a few times. It's been more than a few times. I'm far from perfect. But I'm just the few instances that I'm thinking about where weaknesses have been brought up. Man, they were awesome growing experiences for myself because I was unaware of it. Or sometimes you may have the instance where you're aware of it, you don't think other people notice it. But with them bringing it to my attention, it let me know other people notice it. So you need to, maybe this is something you need to work on now, Ayn. But with all that being said and everything I said off in this video, it still comes down to, I don't need your judgment to validate what I'm doing. You may assist me and help me on some things. That's awesome and that's fine. But when it really comes down to it, on me doing whatever that I'm doing or choose to do up off my life, I don't have to have your validation on it. Thank you for the input, whether it was positive, negative, whatever it may be. Thank you. I'll take that. I'll utilize that to move on my way. But ultimately, you're not signing off on any papers in my life. That's the topic of this video. I just wanted to take time out to share it with you today. In the meantime, if you haven't, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Check out the link in the description box for a book that I've written. Kilimanjaro's The Arithmetic of Family Communication. You can find the book on Amazon, paperback or an ebook copy. Follow me on my other social media, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Obviously, I'm here. This is where I'm doing the video. And if you click on any of the videos on any of the other social media, they're going to point you to YouTube. So obviously, I'm on YouTube. In the meantime, stay encouraged. Avoid being discouraged. I'm Ayn. You have a good one.